they did it without having a war between what was then the Soviet Union and the United States. And I'm always grateful to God that I have had the opportunity to do that, work with them, work with Reagan to make it a better world. Well, Ronald Reagan isn't with us anymore. His leadership isn't there anymore. And if we are going to accomplish great deeds, if we are going to change the world in a better way, it's up to all of us now. And we don't have a dynamic leader. We don't have someone like him with us. So we face a huge crisis today. You've heard about it over and over again. As I am speaking to you, Christians are being slaughtered. Every minute that we spend together, Christians are being slaughtered. This is a horrendous, tragic, historic event in the history of our planet. Christians being slaughtered by the thousands and by the tens of thousands, and by the time this is over, by the hundreds of thousands, if not the millions. We have to act to save the Christians from genocide. It's as simple as that. It's us or nobody. And I've been totally frustrated here in Congress because what we have are very well-meaning people, and my colleagues are very well-meaning on this issue. And you've heard a lot of them today, I'm sure. But you know, people are steered in every wrong direction here when they're trying to solve something of this magnitude. They're steered in the wrong. First of all, we have an establishment that is trying to tell us that if we try to target our sympathy and our salvation in this horrible time to the Christians who are being slaughtered, instead of just a wide net covering anybody who's at risk, that we can't do that. That's a form of discrimination. I will tell you, the staff here in Congress has bought onto that. Obama has bought onto that. And there are certain Republican leaders that have bought onto that. It is absurd and insane. It's like saying, oh, the Jews have made it over here, but we're going to have to turn their boat back to Nazi Germany because giving them those extra Jews here would be discriminating against the Christians or somebody else back in Europe. No. Today, it's the Christians who've been targeted, and they deserve a special consideration from this government to save them. And I have a piece of legislation, H.R. 4017, and it basically lays it out and just says, and by the way, it changes law. Now, you'll hear about other pieces of legislation, and I am not doubting the sincerity of the people who've been working on it, but they got steered the wrong way, or there's clauses in there that make them useless in this battle. What we're talking about is trying to save Christians that are targets of genocide. You can't have legislation saying, which some of the legislation says, oh, we're going to save a minority. The minority who is being persecuted gets refugee status. If we do not designate the Christians, believe me, this city will not save those Christians. We have other people who then basically have bills that it's a sense of the House resolution that we should be saving the Christians. Sense of the House resolutions mean nothing. They do not change law. All it does is issue a proclamation that that's the sense of the House. I will tell you that I have a piece of legislation that changes law. And the law will say, if my bill passes, and I'm here to recruit you to see that it does pass, this bill says those people who are deciding who gets to come to our country through immigration or refugee status from those countries that are now in turmoil in the Middle East, that they will give, it insists that they will give priority to Christians and Yazidis who are the targets of genocide. That's what the bill insists on. It changes the law, and if the people issuing those visas now for immigration or for refugee status don't do that, they are breaking the law. And instead, what we have, of course, now is tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are coming to this country from these war-torn areas, and a minuscule number of them are Christians. The people who, of course, are the most targeted by this vicious, ugly upheaval in mankind called radical Islamic terrorism, which, of course, our president refuses to say. No, we need to set in law and make sure the people who are representing us in the bureaucracy have to give priority to those Christians in Yazidis who are being targeted for genocide. That's why I'm here to recruit you for your help. We don't have Ronald Reagan. We don't have some great leader who's going to mobilize. You are the ones who have got to mobilize public opinion. You have got to mobilize your supporters to make sure we get real change in our law that will save the Christians from genocide. If you don't act, and if we don't do it right, if we get lured into putting little phrases in there to try to take care of people who think that it's discriminatory to single out Christians, they will not get saved. There's got to be no nonsense. We got to get the job done. I'm asking for your help. We're going to have a strategy session at 2200 Rayburn at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Anybody who wants to come can join us. But in the meantime, those of you who can't, please have your people communicate with the leadership of the Republican Party and your own congressman, saying support, co-sponsor, and insist that H.R. 4017 comes to a vote on the House floor. By the way, it's in committee now, the Judiciary Committee. But the Judiciary Committee has these other bills that, by the way, as I tell you, they're designed to sound like they're going to do something, but they're not. It's fair, and I'm not saying that people who wrote them didn't have good hearts and think they're doing it. This is the bill that works. That won't. It's up to us. Let's be serious about it. Please help me get it through the committee onto the floor for a vote, and we'll win, and we will save at least some people who otherwise would have been murdered by these horrific radical Islamic terrorists that now plague the world. Thank you all very much. God bless.